Alright, so I just watched Sinners. What is going on YouTube? It is GZTV. We are back with another 2025 release, and you know I had to check out another big time movie in the running for an Oscar. We have Sinners, and I'm not gonna lie, this might be one of the most conflicting movie experiences I've had in a minute, and probably one of the more conflicting reviews I'm gonna give on the channel, because this is a movie I should love. I like vampire stuff, I like period pieces, I like movies with a message. You've got Michael B. Jordan, who I love from Creed, he was in Black Panther, countless other movies. Hailey Steinfield, who I really knew from Hawkeye, the girl Hawkeye. Ryan Coogler directing as a debut. It's a crazy concept with vampires mixed into a historical setting. Like, on paper, this sounds like an absolute slam dunk of a movie. And yet, I'm kind of sitting here like, yeah, it's good. I do think it is a good movie, but I don't really get the insane hype behind it. I guess it could be an award-winning movie, but to me, I wouldn't give it an award. Maybe for Best Picture, and I feel like I'm gonna get cooked for this take, but hey, we keep it honest over here. I just have to be honest. This is not a movie I was as big of a fan of as most people were, so let's get into the premise, the good, the bad, the okay. Give it a review, give it a rating. Let's go. So getting into the premise, I mean, I'm gonna try not to spoil stuff, but like, go watch the movie before you watch the review, because we're gonna be talking pretty extensively about some of the stuff they talk about. Some of the stuff came as a surprise, so you should probably watch the movie first. The movie takes place during the Jim Crow era, back in like the 30s, and it follows twin brothers Smoke and Stack, both played by Michael B. Jordan, which is insane. They're kind of these smooth, dangerous, larger than life personalities trying to build something for themselves, trying to find a business avenue to make some cash. And a lot of the story centers around a juke joint. The blues were a big part of the time, black culture was really starting to get involved with music now that the slaves for the most part were free. Music, culture, community, all that stuff, like bringing people together to have a good time. But then things take a turn. You start getting supernatural elements, vampires get involved, and now the movie is kind of juggling drama, horror, cultural commentary, and even some religious symbolism all at once. And that's where things kind of get interesting, and that's where it's going to get interesting in the review. But it's also where things start to fall apart a bit for me. So I'm going to explain myself here in a second. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but we got a lot to talk about. So getting into the good, we got to start with what this movie absolutely nails, because there are plenty of things I very much liked about this movie. There's a lot. I mean, first off, visually, this movie is incredible. The way it's shot, the color palette, how much it fits kind of that era, even though I don't really watch a lot of movies from this time period. It's definitely unique. You can tell they put a lot of time in it, like how the pimps dress, and like they're smoking cigarettes and they have like the gold teeth. It's really cool, and you can see all these actors and actresses kind of in different lanes. Hailey Steinfield has never really played a like southern white girl before. Michael B. Jordan, he's played southern black people before, but like not in this vein, not as like a pimp. The production design, the costumes, the lighting, just the overall look and aesthetic of this movie, very, very unique. One of the better looking films I've seen in quite some time, and I'm sure that is what most people comment on about this movie. The juke joint setting especially is really fucking cool. It really reminds you of what that would look like even watching It, Welcome to Derry, kind of what they were doing with stuff like that. It's great. It feels alive, it feels authentic, it really puts you into that time period. Ryan Coogler does a really good job, kind of in a way that doesn't feel forced or artificial, or like they're just forcing that on you. And speaking of the time period, I actually love the fact that this movie leans into that Jim Crow era. You don't really see a lot of movies do that anymore, because cancel culture, there's a lot of controversial things that could kind of come with that, and it's very risky to like use the hard R N-word for like bigots and have the KKK in your movie. People get very butthurt over that. But obviously, I guess this movie uses it in a different vein. It's not very celebratory of that clan or group, whatever you want to call it. It's more of making a mockery of them, talking down on them, what was wrong with that era. Again, not what it represents. I don't support anything from the Jim Crow era, but it gives the film a very unique identity that makes it stand out from a lot of other movies. You don't see a lot of movies take that era in the first place and then go ahead and blend it with something like horror or supernatural elements. So from a concept standpoint, this is extremely creative. Again, I gotta give my props to Ryan Coogler. He did his big one with this. And then you've got the performances. I mean, Michael B. Jordan, he is absolutely fantastic in this movie. He deserves some Oscar consideration. The way he talks, like he's the man of the town, like the sheriff in town who no one wants to fuck with. Like in broad daylight, he just coldly shoots two motherfuckers in the leg that are even looking at his truck, and he knows these people. It's crazy. Playing twins is not easy. He actually makes them feel like somewhat two different people. Can't always tell the difference because they're identical twins. They're played by the same exact person. They've got got different energies, there's different attitudes. I think he carries this movie in a big way, no question. Obviously the supporting cast is also really strong as well. Hailey Steinfield, we talked about, is Mary, but also even characters like Delta Slim and Cornbread. They've got personality, they're entertaining, they got good dialect, like very fun, like comforting moments, and they add a lot to the world of the film. And honestly, one of my favorite aspects of this entire film is the culture. I very much appreciate it. I'm obviously not a part of it, I don't really indulge in it. I wasn't around on this time, like listening to the blues and like going to music clubs and stuff like that. The music, the energy, just the atmosphere of this whole thing before things go to shit, it's done extremely well. The sequence where they kind of blend different eras of black culture and music together, where you have the 90s and people wearing blingy ass chains, saggy jeans and jerseys, and like what are those hats called? I can't remember. But like all that, and like the rock era with like Jimi Hendrix homage almost. It's awesome. It's easily one of the best scenes in the entire film, one of the coolest scenes I've ever seen in a movie as well. That's the type of stuff where you sit back and go, yeah, this is art. Yeah, this took a lot of time to make. And I'll also say this, I think just the concept of including vampires is dope, both from a visual and a stylistic standpoint. Just the whole gore as well, the way the blood like squirts out of people when they get bit. It's very much classic. This movie very much takes you back to like old school monster movies with like The Thing and whatnot, and just the design of the vampires with their red eyes and they're glowing in the night. That's great. I mean, the way they're used in certain scenes, it gives off just classic movies. I definitely appreciate it because I've watched a fair share of classic horror films, or movies at least that were supposed to take place there. There is certainly a lot to like in this movie, but let's move on to the bad. Getting into the bad, now we gotta get into why this movie didn't fully land for me, and there is one huge issue to kind of start off with. I think the movie tries to do too much, almost. I think it juggles with too many different themes, and maybe I'm getting it wrong, maybe I'm not focusing on the right things. It ends up not saying anything super clearly either. There's too much subliminal stuff going on. Like you have the racism, like the cultural ownership with like culture vultures, and that's kind of what these white people as the vampires represent, and eventually they suck the black people into their community. And you have trauma, there's a lot of identity stuff that they talk about, and even the religious themes with Preacherboy Sammie and his dad, and like the movie's called Sinners, but like it's a lot of half measures. They don't really dig into that much, and I'm not a huge fan of that. Instead of focusing on one strong message, I would have much rather them just focused on the vampire angle of like, oh, you're a culture vulture, you're trying to blood sucking. Like that's a really good like visualization for that. Like you're sucking the blood out of our culture. It kind of throws everything at you at once. Again, half baked, and I see what they're going for. It's great, but I'm not really connecting with the way I probably should. Some of the messaging feels forced. I mean, obviously I'm very biased because I'm like black, I'm not a minority, I don't go through racism, so obviously some of this stuff won't hit the same, and that's kind of why I'm not as big as other people on movies like Black Panther. I'm very big on Get Out. I do actually kind of like how they did it in that movie, but there's a lot of these like movies that are trying to send a message, and I'm just not all the way on board with it because I don't relate to it, and that's fine. I can't really blame the movie for that because it works for plenty of people. It doesn't connect. The whole idea of like, this is our culture, you can't have it. I get the historical context behind it because this was a shift in time where black culture was starting to become prevalent, and black people had the freedom to kind of go out and make their own culture and like put it onto society. But it didn't fully sit right with me, like just the way it was presented. It felt more like something being told to me rather than something I'm naturally experiencing through the story, and that kind of takes you out of it at sometimes because you're like, okay, come on, like really, you're dragging it right now. Like, oh, you can't come into the club because you're white, and like they sound good. The music sounds just like some of the music you hear in the club, and they're like, nah, get the fuck up on out of here. It's like, bro, what? I get like the whole racial revenge thing, like the reparations and all that stuff, like that's fine, and I don't want to make this review political at all because this movie was kind of meant to be political, but I don't want to make it like that. But also a side fact, there was a Center's booth at Lyrical Lemonade's Summer Smash Festival. I don't know what that was about. Probably should have went to that, but didn't really know about this movie at the time. Another big issue is the pacing. Kind of just put the politics aside, I think just the way this movie is paced, how it kind of transpires. The movie is definitely a slow burn, and not always in a good way. Like it's fine to kind of take your time with like 2 hours and like kind of enjoy the atmosphere of it. We spend a lot of time at the juke joint though, and at first it's cool. You know, people are vibing, dancing around, getting drinks, people are joking. I like the dialogue a lot of the time. It's like building the world, introducing characters, setting the tone, but after a while it starts to drag. I feel like it takes a little too long for the vampires to get involved, and even the vampire fight wasn't really prolonged as much as it probably should have, purely for the fact that we spent so much time dancing to this music. And it's fine, like, showcase the music from the time, but you get what I mean. And again, when things finally do pick up, it feels like it took way too long to get there. Just the ending, I guess we could kind of get into. You wait for something to happen and then the ending happens. I wasn't a fan of the ending, really. Like, you've got these weird transitions between reality and imagination, flashbacks, whatever you want to fucking call them, and that's why I don't like the ending, because I honestly don't know what the hell was going on with it. You've got characters shrugging off things that should absolutely take them out, you know, bullets hitting this guy, and he's like thinking of his baby. You've got this whole vampire return situation later on. It's just extremely unnecessary. It didn't feel clean. It didn't feel satisfying. It was kind of messy, and I don't really know what it was supposed to tell. Maybe I need to go back and rewatch it. Maybe that's kind of the beauty of making an ending like that. The genre identity of this thing as well. It's kind of marketed like a horror movie, but I don't see this as a horror movie. I see this more of as a movie that's actually trying to send a message than some cheap thrills. It's a drama with horror elements. And if you go into this expecting something intense or terrifying, you're probably gonna be disappointed. So that's kind of where I'm gonna leave off with the bad. So getting into the okay, this should be a somewhat short section because I kind of yapped for the other two, but this is stuff that's kind of in the middle. Like, I don't like it. I don't hate it. You should infer what the okay means. The vampire concept. I said it visually, it was cool, and I do like just like what it's about, what it's supposed to mean, the potential of the whole thing, but like how it impacts the story, I don't think it's groundbreaking when it really should have been. The religious symbolism, the whole sinners concept is interesting. Again, this could have probably went into the bad because so many things are just half-baked, and it's like the movie's called Sinners, and you have a pastor and you have a pastor's son, and it's like, can we like explore this a little more? Like maybe explain, maybe don't make it so muddled so we don't know what the fuck's happening. It's not explored deeply enough to really hit. Some of the tension and jump scares are actually decent. There are some pretty scary moments in the movie, even if some of them are predictable, but again, nothing that's gonna absolutely blow you away. The concept itself is strong. Like, this is a great idea for a movie. Ryan Coogler coming up with this, or whoever came up with the script and the story, good on you, because it's fucking awesome. But the execution just doesn't fully live up to how good that idea is. Again, I think there's too much going on. There's maybe even too many characters. I don't really know. Let's get into our final thoughts. So getting into a review, just kind of wrapping up my thoughts for this movie. At the end of the day, it is a good movie. You could argue it's a fantastic movie, and that's obviously why it gets critical acclaim, why it's up for all these awards. There's a lot of talent behind it, a lot of creativity, a lot of effort. And I can absolutely understand people loving it. Like, there's some movies out there that I don't understand why people like and I hate it, but this is just more of a preference thing for me not liking it. But for me personally, it just didn't hit the way I wanted it to. I think this is still somewhat of a positive review because I had still quite a bit of things to say. So I respect it more than I actually enjoy it. Like, I like what went into it and all of the marketing and how much they're really shooting for this to be like the next big thing of the decade. And sometimes I enjoy it, but it's a good film. It's not something I'm going to be raving about. I might rewatch it. I don't really know yet. I feel like I'm almost forced to give it a rewatch, but I'll just go ahead and say it. This is a 7.3 out of 10. I know that is a super low score because most people are probably giving this 8.5 to 9s out of 10, maybe even 9 pluses. Again, it's not only a preference thing, but it's just, I don't know, there's not really a direction. It's not really as cohesive as I wanted it to be, and that kind of sucks. And it drags a little bit. They could have had a little more shock value with some of the themes and really just highlight those more and emphasize them, but I didn't really get that. So with that being said, I am out. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. As always, it has been GZTV. Go check out the socials. I'm going to go put this on CapCut, and then I'm going to be hitting the haystack for the night. It's been a long day. It's been a really fun one. This video could potentially come out Sunday, but I'm more leaning on a Monday release, and then after that, we're probably going to watch The Long Walk. That's one I've been very interested in checking out. The Stephen King adaptation, so that should be a lot of fun. We've done plenty of those on the channel, so peace.